Hello, it is Thursday, March 16th, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Thursday puzzle today, and that means some sort of interesting or involved theme today. We'll have to find out what that's all about. Actually, I can see some shaded cells in the grid, so that's part of what's going on. What will be in them, who knows? In any case, this mysterious edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Laura Sexton, Victoria Rojishka, and a new benefactor, an incoming benefactor, Noah Bezenson. So thank you so much to the three of them, and welcome to Noah. They are directly supporting this channel and helping maintain this series every day. I really do appreciate it. And as a new benefactor, Noah Bezenson will soon enough receive the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug. So I hope he enjoys that and drinks plenty of coffee or tea out of it, maybe while watching this series. In any case, thank you so much to them, those benefactors, to Noah for joining up, and for to all of my patrons. It does keep this channel going. It really does sustain this whole thing. So thank you so much if you're among that number. And if you'd like to become among them, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video. Of course, as I said, as a benefactor like Noah, you can get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug. And as a patron at any level, you can get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. That includes, so far this week, another acrostic puzzle, one of the acrostic puzzles I frantically solved before the New York Times took them all away, and also the practice puzzle, I think, from the Bosswords Spring Themeless League. So that has begun. If you have been a patron for a while, you might remember some of the Bosswords leagues in which I've participated in the past. Those are weekly competitions. They run for about 10 weeks. I completely missed the first one. So I did solve the first puzzle. That will go up early next week, since there's already a lot going up on the Patreon right now. And then they will continue for the next 9 weeks, I suppose. So look forward to those. Those are particularly difficult puzzles, aiming to be more difficult than a New York Times Saturday. So check that out. If you're a patron, that will be up on, well, the first practice puzzle will be up today, in fact. All right. So all that said, let's get on to today's solve. Like I said, this is a Thursday puzzle with some sort of interesting theme, and it was constructed by Rebecca Goldstein, who's constructed about half a dozen puzzles for the Times to date, I believe, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving, shall we? Let's see what's in store for us. All right, so what do you blank? Popular modern party game. I don't know. My first guess would be what do you know, but that is something I do not know myself, so I'm not sure. Gargantuan, enormous, giant, gigantic. None of those fits. Kayak alternative, a canoe, or I guess it could be, there's a website, there's a sort of travel search website, Kayak. I guess it could be that. I don't know. Get-togethers, meetings or parties or soirees or something. Singer McCain with the 1998 hit I'll Be. Not sure about this either. Not an encouraging start. Pink slipped. You're fired. You've been axed. I believe is what that probably is. Does that help with this? Oh, there's a travel site with an X in it. What is it? Expedia. So I think right. I think it is the kayak travel site meaning of the word as opposed to the boat. All right. Gargantuan. Large. That doesn't work. Form of racing that requires 1 foot on the ground at all time. Oh, is that speed walking? Or something? It's called something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I remember seeing that in the Olympics one time and being sort of transfixed by it. It's such an unusual sport. Kind of ray. A manta ray, maybe? 16 cups, abbreviation. Is that a gallon? Kind of ray. Holy Scroll holder. An ark. Deafening. Oh, if something's deafening, it could be very loud. It could be a roar. 16 cups. Maybe it is gallon. This does look like speed walking. Okay, it'll be something with this shaded square here. So, oh, I see. The ED is already in there. So I think the clue is sort of going up a little hill. It's sort of going up and down a little hill here to create the word speed walking. So what does that mean? Speed bumps, I bet. I bet it'll be speed bumps. Do these all start with speed, maybe? No, they don't. Complicated situation. No, I don't think that's what it is. Count us in. Through the looking glass character. Yeah, okay. And what's in here? A weed. Maybe weeds are popping up. Complicated situation. I suppose we could also start the sort of rotation from any point. If it were weed, if these all did have WEED in them, they could be rotated. They wouldn't have to necessarily be in this specific configuration. Okay, well, we'll get there eventually. So Singer McCain. Edwin, probably? With these, I assume this one's not using the full weed. Usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, I don't know. But often with this kind of clue, it'll just be one of them. Usually the across answers more commonly, but not exclusively so. In any case, I think the downs are just going to use these letters as normal. And that seems to be the case so far. Get-togethers are meetups. There we go. What do you meme? I guess that's why they've specified popular modern party game. What do you meme? I suppose a play on what do you mean? Okay, I've never heard of that one. Gargantuan is massive. And to take hold, if an idea takes hold, it sets in. Sister of King Charles III, Princess Anne. Anne, Princess Royal, I suppose. And shrug is, I don't know. Home of the USS Arizona Memorial, Oahu, I believe, in Hawaii. And a spot for a stud or a bud, an ear, I guess. Ear either meaning a person's ear in which a stud has been placed, or does it mean a bud in a botanical sense, like a flower? Or a bud? Candy in a gold foil wrapper. What candy is Rolo in a gold foil wrapper? I'm not sure. I think Rolo was in. Oh, that was in maybe one of the Boss Words puzzles I solved yesterday. Hockey legend Gordy. And heading in the right direction. East, I suppose, which is represented as right on a map. And to go a few rounds, say question mark. So it's not spar or something like that, which is what you'd think if there weren't a question mark, to go a few rounds in the ring, the boxing ring. So what is it? Go a few rounds. And hockey legend Gordy, right, I'm not sure. Essay count, pages maybe, or words maybe. Word count of an essay seems more likely. Gordy Howe, maybe? That sort of sounds vaguely familiar, but it could just be because it's a plausible name. Creatures described as anguilliform eels. That's sort of some sort of etymological root dealing with eels. So yes, it is weed. Okay, my suspicion, or one of my suspicions anyway, was correct, which is that we're going to spell out weed in presumably all of these 2x2 boxes, but we're going to start the rotation at different points. And so here we know that this will go DWEE. Count us in. Would we ever? Yes. So if someone says, would you like to join me? You could say, count us in. Would we ever? Would we ever like to join you? So there we go. So this must be Rolo. Rolo must come in a gold foil wrapper, I suppose. And home of the Nobel Peace Center would be Oslo. There we go. Vavavoom is a sort of, I don't know, somewhat quaint way, I suppose, to indicate excitement. Sometimes, I guess, at the sort of appearance of somebody else. And then blubber is, to blubber is to sob, as opposed to blubber in the sense of whale fat as a noun. So here's blubber as a verb. And Shakespearean humor, bile is a Shakespearean humor, I think. So the humors sort of, kind of dispositions or sort of feelings that you have on some kind of elemental level, I think is what that's referring to, and bile could be one of those. I'm not sure if this is the correct answer, but it sort of makes sense to me if it is. Intestine's place is mid. Why can't I see that? Italian for milk would be latte? Is it just latte or is it something similar to that? Cafe latte, coffee with milk. I think that's right. University of Georgia athletes to fans. I don't know. Take on together. Developing, say. Let's look somewhere else. What about this? This looks like tweed or something. Oh, no, it's not. It's the go a few rounds. What is it? Twirl. You spin around, literally. And Elizabeth of WandaVision, Elizabeth Olsen? I think I've encountered this before, and I wasn't sure if her name is spelled E-N or O-N, and I'm still not completely sure, but let's leave it for now. Chum. And so the chum could be a pal, a friend. Oh, no, does that say... No, it says churn. I'm sorry, I should read the larger bit of text here. I'm far enough away that it's ambiguous on the small one. Anyway, to churn, I see. So churning waters could be roiling, for instance. And that looks right. So I was thinking, it doesn't matter what I was thinking. I was reading the word incorrectly. Editorial overhaul is a rewrite. There we go. And that indicates how our weed will be oriented. So, yes, presumably they'll all be uniquely oriented. So I suspect the next one is going to have the W here and be spelled like so. We'll put that in and we'll see if that works. So this looks sort of strange though. Oh, no, it works. Motorist's offense for short is DWI, driving while intoxicated. So there we go. So yes, we do have 4 unique arrangements of the word weed, and it looks like it's rolling this way, down here, if we follow the rotation anyway. Rolls down here, and then over here, and then up there. I don't know if that matters. It probably doesn't. Ones who know what's coming are seers. They can see the future. Prophets, or sort of. Not go to bed is to stay up. This looks interesting. Through the looking glass character. This doesn't look quite right, does it? And this also doesn't. Maybe I've done something wrong. Oh, no, it does. This one does look correct. Like a certain Freudian complex would be Oedipal, an Oedipus complex. And golfers' involuntary wrist spasms while putting with the... I've never heard of this. Are those called yips? I have no idea what this is. Involuntary wrist spasms while putting. I guess it must be yips. The yips. You've got the yips, they must say. All right. New to me. Blank Said, critically acclaimed 2022 biographical drama, She Said, is a film that came out last year. And hexagon bordering 2 rectangles. The state of Utah, I suppose, must be that. And then Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes and fire is Pele. Yes, I do actually recognize that one. And so this is very strange. So what is going on here? Maybe, do I have weed spelled in? No. Because Oedipal looks right and Sears looks right. And rewrite looks correct. I must be forgetting a character from Through the Looking Glass, or I'm just have some other mistake I still can't identify. Sorry, I forgot to read it correctly. I'm sorry. You must be wondering what on earth is going wrong with my brain at the moment, and I'm wondering the same thing. So it's Tweedledee or Tweedledum. We don't know which. Those are 2 characters from Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Very sorry. That was ridiculous. All right. C's And so that's funny. Seize and seize, two different words. So, but both nouns. So if you seize something, you usurp it, maybe? Tweedledum here. And First Lady between Bess and Jackie. I can't think. Truman who? I don't know. Can't think. Ingenuity Organization. NASA, that's the name of a spacecraft, I think. And Seize. Is it Mamie? That sort of sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Hit the mall, say. To spend, maybe? You hit the shopping mall? Seize. And Great Lakes people. Could be Erie's. Maybe it is Mamie. Plant scene rolling through this puzzle. Oh, tumbleweeds. There we go. Oh, that's a shame that I didn't come to that earlier. I even described it sort of rolling along in the way a tumbleweed is depicted as doing in, Western films and that sort of thing. There we go. Very nice. And this was Mamie. Okay. That was my first thought, and then it took me a while before I said it because I wasn't sure, but there we go. All right. University of Georgia athletes to fans. This I don't know. Intestines place. I'm not sure about that either. Take on together. Something team, to be a team. Possible cause of a cough. Not sure about that. John Irving protagonist, T.S. Garp, The World According to Garp. Novel. And, dogs, maybe? D-A-W-G-S. That's sort of what it looks like with this A-W-G. I suspect that's right. I'm not sure what their proper name is. Possible, smog might be the cause of a cough, I see. And if you're developing in the womb, you're in utero. There we go. And intestines place. Why don't I see what this is? Mid-gut, maybe? Family friendly for the most part is rated PG. There we go. Rated PG for parental guidance. So family friendly for the most part. And here we have woman's name that's a palindrome is going to be Anna. It must be Anna because we already have the final A, which must be the same as the first letter. And 58, I never even saw this clue. Sorry about that. Pop singer's nickname that omits 58 across. So we have Ari for Ariana Grande, and we're missing the ANA bit from her name to make ARI her nickname. That's a nice little compound clue there. Take on together. Oh, I see. Tag team, not be a team, but a more legitimate phrase unto itself, a tag team. And then a big to-do is a stir, a big commotion. Makeup artists, liars, I suppose. They're people who have mastered the art of making things up, of lying, I think is what's going on there. And this is a complicated situation. It's a tangled web, it looks like. Yeah, or a somethinged web anyway, but tangled web sounds right to me. What a tangled web we weave. What a complicated situation we find ourselves in. Mediocre effort is your C game, maybe? Don't think I've heard that used as a phrase in that way, but it would make sense. And a sort unlikely to stoop, say. I guess it could be a D as well. Or rather, not as well, but instead of. Sort unlikely to stoop. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it could be a B game as well. I don't know. Because I suppose A game is so commonly used that even a B game, which is generally, B is at least considered good, typically. Maybe in the context of games, it's not. Because people only talk about A games, really. Neighbor of chlorine on the periodic table. Argon, it must be. And it's heaven sent, manna from heaven, they say. Food sent by God. And then kind of ray, a gamma ray. There we go. And like towelettes in a fast food restaurant, you might be given a moist towelette to wash your hands or wipe them off. And if you're a sort right, okay, I was wondering, this is why I was wondering if it was the B game, because I thought it might be snob. Sort unlikely to stoop could be snob because they sort of hold themselves high and see themselves being above other people. So your mediocre effort is indeed your B game. Bring your B game. I suppose if you said that to somebody, they would think, boy, you don't have very high expectations of me, do you? Because we really only do talk about A games. And Buenos Aires, here we go, the city. This might be rigged. A mast of a ship might be rigged. So I think we read this and you'd think rigged in the sense of a sort of process being, a fair process being undermined. But I think that was a bit of misdirection, and we're actually referring to a ship's mast. All right, chairs could be leaders of, say, a committee or something like that. And beautiful, you might say. So wheat, maybe. So, as is often the case with slang in the New York Times crossword, the clue matches very closely the answer in a tonal sense. So you could imagine a similar sort of person maybe saying this, arguably. But what's more relevant is that the word is sort of stretched out. These syllables are kind of pulled apart. And that is being done in both the clue and the answer. Who says "play it, Sam" in Casablanca? The character Ilsa, "play it, Sam." Play as time goes by. Famously, frequently misquoted as "play it again, Sam." And contingencies could be ifs, things that might happen. Beef that's aged, a feud, right? That's a nice clue. So not aged beef in the sense of a meat, but rather a beef, an argument that has gone on too long. It's aged. It's become a feud. And satirist Mort Saul was a satirist. I do recognize that name. And then maybe Mort Saul did some ad lib. And here we have wings things are ad libs. Why is that the case? Oh, because you're winging it. Sorry, you're improvising. You're winging it. You're putting together ad libs on the spot, which are little improvisations. So there we go. That was the Thursday puzzle, and we had our nice, well-constructed tumbleweeds concept where our weed rolled through the grid. We can see here, if we follow the position of the D, we can see it rotating clockwise with each appearance as it tumbles along. And that helped us spell the phrases speed walking, tangled web, would we ever, and Tweedledum. Tweedledum's a very nice one. Finding a sort of single word, I don't know, name, proper noun, I suppose, that fits in there is a nice complement to these other phrases. So there we go. A nice Thursday crossword by Rebecca Goldstein. I know I sometimes say this Rebecca Goldstein and sometimes Goldstein, and I'm not sure which it is. So I apologize to her. In any case, she put together a nice puzzle today featuring these tumbleweeds running through the grid. And that it was a very nice find. It was enjoyable to kind of stumble on it up here and try and figure out what exactly was going on. I really did think it was going to be speed bumps earlier, but I suppose that wouldn't have been quite right because this W would have been unaccounted for. It would have been serving no purpose in the speed bump. But I guess you could have argued, well, it's just the speed. The speed sort of hits a bump and then does something, and that's all that's necessary. You could maybe argue that. I don't know. In any case, it was irrelevant because it had nothing to do with what the puzzle was. And so that's that for today's crossword. And I did take some screenshots of a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. So let's take a look at those and see what people had to say. Ben Ward, wanted to comment on the two thematic phrases "shapes up" which pertain to Tetris, and "barrel of monkeys," which pertained to Donkey Kong. Ben Ward says, "Shapes up fits Tetris moderately well as the shapes pile up as the game goes on. And I think barrel of monkeys is just a bit of a rough clue, meaning here barrels belonging to an ape. So the barrel of monkeys, it's a barrel belonging to an ape. Yep, that's fair enough. I was looking for something more linguistically tight, I suppose, because some of the other clues, like blue streak, worked very well, I thought, for Sonic the Hedgehog, for instance. So But yes, quite a few people commented in this vein and said, you're overthinking this. It's just barrels dealing with apes, and that's about it. And then people did point out different ways in which barrels figure into games in the Donkey Kong series. So you can go seek out those comments if you're interested in learning about those. Dragon Traces pointed out that the word batik, which I think I pronounced something like batik or something perhaps incorrectly, is in fact pronounced batik, so that material. Apologies for that. And Stephen Giblin explains that Val Demings is a former congresswoman from the Orlando area who ran for the U.S. Senate in 2022, but lost to the incumbent Marco Rubio. So thank you for that information as well. And finally, Peapod has a correction of a correction. I had originally stated 2 days ago that Ricoh and Canon were competitors in the camera field, and then someone pointed out Ricoh makes printers, as does Canon as well, so they're competitors in the printer field. Peapod says Ricoh does in fact also make cameras. More recently, they bought Pentax and manufacture SLRs under that brand and compacts under Ricoh. So I suppose everybody was right. Ricoh and Canon are competitors in both the printer world and the camera world. So there we have it. Those are the clues from yesterday's puzzle. And thank you to everybody who sent in clarifications and corrections. As always, I do appreciate it. Thank you for that. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Friday puzzle. We will dispense with the theme and just solve clues. After that, I might miss the Saturday puzzle. I'll be traveling for the next week or so. It's possible I will miss Saturdays because I may not be able to solve it in a location that is conducive to recording. So we'll have to see. But there will be something up on the channel one way or the other, I think. So look forward to that. And until then, please do have an excellent remainder. Well, until tomorrow anyway. Please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.